What's going on, guys? Scotty Sparks here, coach here, London Luxray, and I'm bringing you my team prep for my Week 7 matchup versus the Crystal Beach Whimsy, coached by Chris. He's a good friend of mine, great battler, and there's his team in the middle right of the screen. I'll talk over that a bit, then I'll talk over what I thought was the best way to counter his team. Uh, it's gonna be a rough matchup for sure. He's got a lot of mons that I'm not too familiar with. He's got a good mind behind the team, and he's just a good battler. So I got to be on my A game for this matchup. Uh, so starting with Garchomp, had him last season. I had him Cynthia. That was the nickname. I'm fearing a scarf Garchomp this match. I was practicing with this exact team, except I had Infernape instead of Spooks, and I realized all but like if I lost Bronzong, Garchomp just ripped through my team. Infernape was meant to take on Garchomp if it wasn't scarfed. How that would happen was I would go up against something, he'd switch Garchomp in on my Infernape as I Swords Danced, hit him with the Zed close combat. It would kill even a tank. Would kill any form of Garchomp, tank, whatever. But if he was scarfed, he outsped me by a lot. Um, which is a problem. Could be a rock setter this match. It's him or I think he's the only one that gets rocks on his team. I was watching Brandon's team prep for Chris. He also played him this week, and I guess I didn't realize before going into this matchup team build that he doesn't really have that many hazards. I still brought hazard removal, but Garchomp is a possible rock setter, so it could still be scarf rocks. Um, it's something I've run before. A lot of people run it, but it's just those are the options I'm kind of worried about. It could be like even SD Garchomp, which I would have rathered Spooks have Will-O-Wisp before, but with Chandelure I couldn't afford the Flash Fire boost. Pelipper, it got a huge buff in Sun and Moon with Drizzle, uh, Hurricane, Scald, U-Turn, the Rain. It's been helping Jolteon for sure this season. That's another threat I have to worry about. Scissor also had him last season, Sarah, and she put in a lot of work from our team, mostly defensively, but Chris has found how to use him offensively, which I didn't really find out other than facing Sean. But so there's the Swords Dancing Scissor I have to worry about. I don't really have the best switch-ins to Scissor either. Bullet Punch takes on a lot of my team. U-turning, he loves U-turning, and baton passing and Volt switching, so I have to be ready to expect him to bounce around everything. Chandelure is probably the thing I'm fearing most. I had Infernape instead of Spooks because Spooks just invites in Chandelure, so that's something I have to be prepared for. But that's another thing I'm expecting to be scarfed. I'm thinking Pelipper might be scarfed, Garchomp might be scarfed. Words, or Chandelure. Any of those three, even Espeon, I guess, going down the list. But so there's 4 potential scarfers, and I know he's taking a scarfer just because, other than Tornadus, Jolteon, and Espeon, my team usually sits at like about that 108. Like if you look at my team, I got Pinsir 105, Infernape 108, Tracheon 108, Cryogonal 108, 105. Sorry. So I've got and then a lot of hundreds too. So I've got I don't have the best speed tiering, but I've got a lot of middle speed tiers, which allows me to scarf a wide variety of Pokemon to outspeed other threats. But a Scarf Garchomp is something that I'm fearing, along with a Scarf Chandelure, which could take on a lot of my team, especially Comet, which outspeeds a non-Scarfed Chandelure. Amoonguss, I don't fear this coming into the match, but I did prep for it just in case he did bring it, because Spore is something I really want to take advantage of. So I had that prepped. Tornadus, Incarnate Form, Fast, Prankster. There's a lot of things he can run with it. I've been practicing, and a Tailwind version could be scary. With Prankster, but then that leads into the whole his team being scarfed again. So if his team's really fast, then I won't have to worry about scarfs. But well, I will know it's faster. Um, then you got Jolteon leading the league in kills this season. Only one death in like 4 or 5 games, 12 kills. So that's something I had to prep for. Espeon's not something he's been bringing a lot, as it has a better typing than Jolteon, better coverage, but it's slower. And I think it hits harder. But that speed loss plus putting Espeon and Jolteon on the same team has been, I guess, hard for him. Um, but Espeon is something I do have to worry about. But I can use the same checks for Espeon as I do Jolteon, I feel. Umbreon completing his EV, it's RU, right? Yeah, his RU EV tiering. Um, it's just a physical wall. Nothing more to say about it. It's going to be hard to break through. Synchronize means that toxicking it would be a bad day unless I'm a steel type or a poison type. Burning it, again, bad day unless I'm a fire type. Something I have to worry about. And these last 3 months, I don't see him bringing. I'll go into that more in a bit, but it's just Frogadier he hasn't really brought. I think he's brought once or twice. Hitmonchan again once or twice, and Lantern I think he brings against Brandon. Um, just because it was a good fit against Brandon's team, but I do fear him bringing Lantern in this match. It's a possibility. It's good against Aurora. It's good against Comet too. Like the fact that my electric attacks won't hit his thing, and me and Chris are talking a bit because I know he's playing Brandon too, and I saw Lantern was good against my team, and I was like, hey Chris, Lantern's good against Brandon's team, but I didn't. I was hoping that helping him out with that doesn't make him think that it's good against my team too. So I'm trying to help everyone out, but that might have hurt me in the end. So if we see Lantern, I'm blaming it on myself. My bad. But I'm gonna go into this part, and I'm gonna explain why my team is the way it is. In bold, I don't know if you can see it, but there are 6 Pokemon I am expecting him to bring. With a bit of debate, I do not expect a Moongus just because of the amount of fire types I have. Pinsir, I have so many things that take on a Moongus, even Excadrill, ground types. Umbreon, I have so many fighting types. It doesn't make sense for him to bring a dark physical wall when I've got 2 wall breakers in Terrakion and in Infernape that break through it. Frogadier, Hitmonchan, Lantern. Like I said, Hitmonchan would be there for the rapid spin. I know he's bringing hazard removal. It's going to be Pelipper, maybe Scissor. Scissor doesn't appreciate having Defog as one of its options, just because if it does, that means it's probably not offensive, just because the move slot syndrome that Scissor has, fitting Swords Dance and Defog on the same 4 move slots is not easy to do, because you have to have one for Bullet Punch, probably one for Roost, one for Swords Dance, and then you don't only have Bullet Punch as your coverage. So I expect Pelipper to be his defogger. If it's not, even if it is scarfed, but Lantern he could bring because I told him it was a good option, and he might be like, oh, it's good against me too. It could happen. Frogadier if he wants to bring hazards, but having a steel type rapid spinner is amazing in this league. Just because anyone who wants to bring toxic spikes kind of gets shied away from it, because I was like, yeah, I'll just throw an Excadrill and boom, It is a water type, which is something extra I'll have to worry about if he does bring it, but still, it's something that can remove the hazards and limit my team from getting hit by poison. Now going into why he's bringing his stuff, he needs a threat to Excadrill. He needs something to take care of Excadrill. That's something Pelipper does. Like, unless I have Toxic, Pelipper just has a field day with Excadrill. That's why I feel he's bringing it. It gives him a chance to remove any hazards I want to bring. If I do choose that, which is why I feel I've left Garbodor at home or on the bench. Victini, Infernape, he needs a check to that. Garchomp, that's why I scarfed Garchomp, I feel is the right option for him. Victini can't glaciate Garchomp unless I predict it, And if I'm scarfed, then I have to switch out anyways. Um, and if I scarf and he's not scarfed, that's bad for me. But if he's scarfed and I'm not scarfed, it's bad for me too. So um, I do have Glaciate as an option if I can live a hit, but I doubt it. And that's why I feel Garchomp's going to be coming. Scizor, with the amount of fire types I have, I doubt he brings it. But again, the U-turn momentum would be good, and the rain could reduce the fire anyways. And Scizor's bulky enough that it lives a fire move. Chandelure, again, a good option. Takes on Victini. Hits Excadrill. Can hit Suicune with Energy Ball. Bronzong takes that on. It takes a lot of my team on. Gourgeist is why I felt Gourgeist might have been better on the bench this game, but I realized I needed a Garchomp check. Tornadus, it's just the fast flying types. If he does scarf this, it's bad for Tracheon. But again, just being a fast flying type in this league is really good. Can put a lot of holes in my team. Put a lot of holes through my team. And then Jolteon, I feel he's bringing because he needs a way to break Suicune. I feel that's Jolteon's role. And Espeon, I think, just because of my fighting types. But I guess Tornadus could take that role, and he could bring something else for Espeon. But let's get into the team. It's been a long talk. That was just my thought process going in. So now, let's see if I can minimize this there so I can still see his team. Scarf Tracheon I felt was a good option in this match. It's what I kind of knew going in I wanted to put on the team. It takes on a lot of his non-scarfed mons that I'm not fearing. Plus, it hits Tornadus because of his scarfers, I don't think Tornadus is going to be the one scarfed. Enough speed that it outspeeds a scarf Chandelure. But I thought that it could be bad that I'm running less speed, because I could run 334 speed and outspeed Scarf Garchomp, but the thing is I only do like 50 max, and that's with a close combat, and then I take rough skin damage and all that. So I felt it would be better to just outspeed what I needed to outspeed and have the rest in health. Tracheon's a weak to a lot of things, so it might not be a great idea, but I think in the long run, having it outspeed Garchomp isn't really as helpful. Dirtbag here. I needed something to remove any toxic spikes he wants to bring if he does choose to bring Frogadier. If he brings Lantern, this does hit it like it with the Earthquake. It also is with the max Spadef, it checks Jolteon and Espeon. Now he could bring physical Tornadus, but I don't think he gets any. He might get Superpower. I'll have to check that, but it takes on any flying moves that Tornadus wants to go for, U-turn, stuff like that. This can't really take on Chandelure with the fact that it has fire moves, but if it's a if it's a Calm Mind Chandelure instead, or a Specs max HP Chandelure, this takes it on, whereas Stanley takes on the Scarf variant of Chandelure. So I'll have to make sure either way I'm good, but I think I needed this for Jolteon. It's that simple. It gave me a way to remove hazards every time Jolteon came in, gave me momentum. And Jolteon only has one death. Let's get it to have another death, and I want to keep it from getting 0 kills. So Excadrill is going to do that. Probably move up the leader board on the way. It's at like 8 kills right now. Hoping to get it up 1 or 2 more. Aurora, I don't use Assault Vest that much, but I'm starting to try to use all the items and not be biased, because Assault Vest, I always feel Leftovers is better, but a lot of people do run Assault Vest, so I'm going to try it out. It takes on... This just walls Pelipper. Cryogonal was also something I was thinking about, but again, Cryogonal just invites in Garchomp, it invites in Scizor, it invites in Chandelure. I guess it doesn't invite in Garchomp as much, but Scizor with the Bullet Punch, Chandelure with the fire moves, it's just free. And Espeon has Psyshock, it invites that in too. and I don't want to invite those threats in. So even though Freeze Dry would like Oko Pelipper, I figured the Hidden Power Electric Ice Beam Scald combo max special attack would be my way to go. This should, unless I get out low roll, it should kill Pelipper in one shot, or if he's running like a certain amount of investment. And Mirror Coat, some hidden tech here. Mirror Coat doesn't get affected by taunt, which means it doesn't get affected by Assault Vest. And if I'm at like 80% HP, I think I take like 50 to 60 range from Jolteon. Like if I'm at a high enough HP, he might go for the Volt Switch expecting me to switch. I click Mirror Coat, I live like the 55 damage I take from the Volt Switch, or I think it's like 45 to 50. And something dies. Like something's just gonna fall over, like pick his fodder. I used it once in practice against Brandon, and it was funny as hell that it worked. But I don't want to sack Suicune that way just because it checks a lot of his team. But it is a way to check Jolteon, because if you see a Suicune, you're more than likely clicking a move. The only way this doesn't work is that for some reason he thinks I'm like gonna switch, so he goes for the Shadow Ball to get damage off on Excadrill, and Shadow Ball does like 5 to me, and then he realizes I have Magic Coat or Mirror Coat. That could be a bad day. I could just Scald if that happens, but yeah, I'm gonna try the Assault Vest out and hope that it works. I mean, you never know. People use it a lot, so let's see how it does. Fourth Pokemon, got Liberty here. I needed something to check Garchomp. Like, looking at the beginning, like the first 3 months of my team, Stanley, Dirtbag, get wrecked by an Earthquake, especially a Scarf, Garchomp. Aurora can take on Garchomp, but I don't want to. Then it'll get to the point where I'm weakening its its effectiveness against other threats, and he's not gonna risk Garchomp anyways to take, like if he risks Garchomp to take out Aurora, that could be a bad time for other mons on his team putting in work, like Pelipper, like Chandelure. So I needed something to take on Earthquakes, to take on Dragon Claws, Outrages. If he has Fire Fang, that might be bad, but a max defense. So I just I'll take like, I don't know, I forget the calc for the Fire Fang, but I doubt he runs Fire Fang if he has Chandelure. Looking at this, I might switch it because Hidden Power Fire, this Chandelure gets invited in to a Bronzong, so maybe Earthquake is better. I might forget to switch it, but Earthquake might be better to take on Chandelure, but I think I have Hidden Power Fire because I think I was fearing Scissor. Like, I think Scissor gets invited into on this too, so I want to like do some sort of damage, right? But maybe Earthquake would be the better play, and Reflect Light Screen just because I couldn't think of any other moves. I was thinking Protect, but I didn't know which one to get rid of, and I kind of have that OCD where I kind of wanted both Reflect and Light Screen. I didn't want to like choose between one and regret bringing one. But with leftovers, I think Protect might be good. Could switch that too. Fifth Pokemon, this is my Amoonguss check. Glaciate is good too. Hits a lot of those things. Safety Goggles, I was debating bringing a Sand Team. Like, I had a Sand Team for the longest time, but I decided that it wasn't worth it just because Excadrill didn't put in as much work as I wanted it to. So basically the game plan is if he brings Amoonguss at any point in time into the match, I switch this, hard switch into this. He goes for the Spore. Safety Goggles doesn't work. I hit the Psychic, do about 50 to Chandelure, and if he's not Scarfed, I outspeed it to hit it with another Psychic. Thunder hits a lot of his team too, hits the Tornadus. I'm pretty sure I live Tornadus's any move Tornadus wants to go for, even probably a Zed move. I'm pretty bulky, 100 across the board. But yeah, this just gives me a little extra offensive pressure against a lot of his team, especially Scissor. Like, I need some way. Like, Scissor, I can't let that set up on me. And you know what? I think that's what Even though I don't think Earthquake did enough, I think that's why I put Hidden Power Fire. I needed some way to pressure offensive Scizor, and make him. The plan was like pressure him with Hidden Power Fires until he was low enough that I could switch out into Comet on his Roost, and then now I'm in a good spot to click Blue Flare, and he could go for the Bullet Punch if he wanted to, but I'm pretty sure I'd live a +4 Bullet Punch anyways, and just OHKO it. In my final mon, I was talking about this a lot already. I needed something else for Garchomp. Bronzong can't handle it on his own. Leech Seed, because if he switches Chandelure in, I need that extra damage. Protect, get a Leech Seed off. Protect, make it even. Make 24% that gets off. Basically, the game plan, lower it to the point where Shadow Sneak can kill. That's it. Like, a lot of his things, Jolteon has Shadow Ball, Espeon gets Shadow Ball, Umbreon gets Foul Play. He switches it into me. Actually, Leech Seed won't hit Espeon, but that's the game plan. Tornadus even. I'm pretty sure I live a Z move through Protect, as long as I protect it. Does like 200, so it's reduced to like 50. And then I can switch out or Leech Seed Synthesis and all that. But yeah, that's the game plan. And Frisk will be very important to deciding what items everyone has. Gorgas like is such a very it's so good. One of my favorite YouTubers said like if you get the chance to draft it, you won't be disappointed, and I haven't been. Just knowing what items alone is awesome. I think Dusclops gets that too, but which is something I might draft if I don't get Spooks next season. But I mean, even if I win the season, I think Spooks is something I'm gonna just guarantee I get. But yeah, that is my team builder. It's a long one, but I mean, Chris is a pretty good team, and I wanted to make sure I won this match. Like, I want to stay on top of the leaderboard, and I have to be on my A game if I'm gonna get past Chris. So yeah, that's the like I said, it's team builder. I'll see you at the battle.